Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. Well, it's the women's quarterfinals, and of course, we had the completion of the Medvedev her catch last 16 match as well. But before you go anywhere and before we get into anything, I'm going to say to you, I keep on forgetting to say it. Please remember to smash the like button. Please, it really does help the channel to grow, and also subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Again, it just helps us get the best content possible out there for you guys, and we are growing. We hit the 1k goal. 2k is the next goal, so please do continue to support, share the videos, get you people involved who you think are going to be interested in it. Tennis, of course, I cover cricket and boxing as well on top of that, so get them involved. And yeah, thank you everyone for the support. Okay, let's get into this then. So the quarterfinals, as you can see, if you are tuning in and you want to hear about the Medvedev her catch match, this is not the video that I'll be covering, and I've already done a video on it. It's on the channel. Go and check it out. I uploaded it earlier today, basically straight after the match concluded. So please do go and check that out if you haven't already. Seems to have got some pretty good reception, so go and check it out. And I did a kind of a more, I guess, technical breakdown of the match. I didn't want to go through it in this video because I thought it would be a bit unfair to overshadow the women's quarterfinals because they are extremely important, and we saw some great matchups. I didn't want it to overshadow this in any way, shape, or form. So let's get into this then. So we'll start off with a match that finished last in Barty Tomljanović. If I'm honest with you, Barty just had way too much. It was an all Australian affair, and it kind of went how I thought it would. It went in the sense that Barty just had the weapons that she had at her disposal are just too big for someone like Tomljanović. A lot of the people, including the commentators, thought that Barty would be slicing and dicing her way to victory and just making it awkward for Tomljanović, but it wasn't that. It was a forehand. She dictated throughout, and her serve's gotten a lot bigger in the last year or so. So similar to, I guess, Novak Djokovic, and has become more of a weapon. Yes, she got broken in the second set, but she was always in front, and she got broken back to then put it back on serve. So always really in control of this match and didn't really look troubled at any point, if I'm being honest with you. A very, very solid victory, and one that I expected her to get. She is looking impressive and is rightly so, I think, the favourite now going forward. Angelique Kerber, the former Wimbledon champion, beating Muchová. As you can see, she's actually seeded 25th, which you might say is a surprise given her form, but she just hasn't had a fantastic year, as people will know. And coming into this, though, she was in red-hot form, winning the German Open before the week before Wimbledon, and then also now coming through against people like Coco Gauff in the last round. She's definitely taken some confidence, and I saw her live on day 2 in her first round match, and she looked well up for it against Stoyan. Oh, I forgot her name. But anyway, in her first round match, she looked really good. I thought, anyway, personally, for a first round match, and she seems to be peaking at the right time here. Beating Muchová 6-2, 6-3 in a really impressive performance, and she carries on her charge. One that kind of hit home a little bit was the Jabeur Sabalenka match, because I was really rooting for Jabeur. I just thought it was amazing to have someone from North Africa potentially being able to win a Grand Slam, being the first person ever to do it would have been amazing. But to be fair, Sabalenka and Belarus have their own history, and I think she's the first Belarusian woman to make the semi-finals of Wimbledon, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, she would be, again, this is from what I know, should be the first woman to win Wimbledon if she ends up going on to win the title from Belarus, that is, anyway. So that would be extremely impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she progresses, because look, Jabeur didn't play a bad game. She actually played a pretty good match, but Sabalenka really turned it on, and this is the best she played, I think, personally, all tournament. And again, she seems to be peaking at the right time. Everyone else has shown glimpses, or they've shown some very solid matches. I think for her, it's been a bit topsy-turvy throughout. But this, I mean, I have to be honest, she was really impressive in my eyes. Very, very impressive. And look, I mean, she had some problems against Katie Bolter, for example, and Jabeur after beating Swiatek, Venus Williams, Garbine, Muguruza. So she's beaten former Grand Slam champions in the last 3 rounds, Swiatek being one of the favourites, and beat her really convincing in that second and third set, 6-1, 6-1, and played unbelievable tennis. For Sabalenka to serve the way she did, I think was the biggest. It was just such an impressive serving display, honestly. Serving big, serving aces, serving on returnables, and Jabeur just didn't really know how to answer. And she opened up quite a few break points, but Sabalenka just swatted them away for the most part with those big serves or the big 1+ shots. And she didn't seem to be missing the spot with the hammer strikes that she's able to produce off both wings. And I think that was the biggest issue, because Jabeur is someone who feeds off mistakes and also then comes up with her own magic. And unfortunately, she was just literally overpowered today, and a shame to see, but a fantastic run nonetheless. And hopefully she continues that form for the rest of the year, because she is very exciting, I think, for women's tennis, and only good to see her progressing and doing well in these tournaments. Plíšková, someone who I think people have been high on the last couple of years, but maybe gone away from a little bit because she just hasn't quite done it. She actually had a stint as well, number one, never won a Grand Slam, and has never actually made a final of a Grand Slam. So she made a couple of semis, but this was her first quarterfinal at Wimbledon, and now she has made the semi-finals, beating Golubic, and she looks very solid, winning 6-2, 6-2. Again, a pretty big server as well, and she moves pretty well for a tall lady of, I think, 6 foot, if I'm not mistaken. She just has a very good grass court game, so it'll be interesting to see how the semis line up for these guys, and we'll touch upon that now, actually, before we get into it. So let's go on to Thursday then. So obviously we've got the semi-finals here, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's an interesting one. I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, my initial reaction after looking at these semis is it's going to be a Barty Sabalenka final, which would be a surprise, if I'm being honest with you, because let's be honest, when we saw the women and men's singles draws, we were thinking that the men's most likely would be the least open out of the two. However, although seeds have been falling from the women's draw, the number 1 and number 2 seeds have made the semis. Now, that's pretty good going, considering in the women's, especially at Roland Garros, they were struggling big time. Krejcikova obviously won it, right? Now, for the men's, obviously, and we'll see how the quarters go, but Medvedev's already out, number 2 seed. Number 4 seed, Zverev's already out. So, look, they've got Djokovic, and yes, Federer is not seeded in the top 5, but I guess you can say he probably should be, given it's Wimbledon. But look, I think that probably we need to give a bit of credit to the women's game here, and especially to Ash Barty and Sabalenka, because grass is not an easy surface to come and play on after playing on clay, and especially with the little amount of time they had to prep. So it's impressive that these guys have come through unscathed so far even, sorry. I'm going to be honest with you, I think Barty Kerber will be a fantastic match. I wouldn't be surprised if Kerber wins that, but I think Barty should have too much for Kerber at this stage of Kerber's career. But let's see, because Kerber, she's on a very high wave right now, so it's going to take a lot, and Barty's going to have to pull all her tricks out of her bag to get the job done. Plíšková, Sabalenka, there could be a whole bunch of nerves here, because the first semi-final at Wimbledon for both, and the first Grand Slam semi-final for Sabalenka. So this could be a very nervy affair at times. What I would say is that Sabalenka probably has the stronger overall game, but Plíškova's been in Grand Slam semi-finals, so that could even out, and I think it's probably a toss of a coin. I would probably slightly edge towards Sabalenka, but I just think, well, especially if she played like how she played today against Ons Jabeur, I think it would be very hard for anyone to beat her. So I'm looking at a Barty Sabalenka final, which is probably what most people would say, looking at that. Well, I guess it's the seeding way of looking at it, isn't it? But I don't know. I could also see all other permutations. I don't think either semi-final is necessarily clear-cut, and I think that's what makes it fantastic. And we've got two very competitive semi-finals, which is great to see in the women's singles, which will be, I genuinely am really looking forward to watching. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I will most likely be doing I will be at Wimbledon tomorrow, so keep an eye out for me on court 1. Doing the quarterfinals for the men's, I'll be watching them. Venu should be on here covering the Federer Hakac quarterfinals, so keep an eye out for that live stream. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.